Tonight's like every other night. You lay there, in the darkened silence, alone, with no company other than your own thoughts. You shift and roll throughout your bed, just you and your thoughts. You ponder, you plan, you fantasize. Anything to distract you from the ringing silence that surrounds you. You hear a creak, a common sound to hear on such still night. But you still recoil when the sound hits your ears. You hear this sound almost every night, but the sheer unexpectedness sets off a trigger in your head as paranoia takes over. The thoughts that once illuminated your mind are now darkened. What was once pleasure and success has now turned to demons and killers. The silence that your mind has been distracting you from has now become focus. You lay there, silent, listening for any obscure sound, hoping that the silence doesn't leave. Every little noise adds to your paranoia, and the silence lingers as you await the next unexpected occurrence. You are too afraid to open your eyes at the thought of seeing anything your mind can conjure. You lay there alone in fear. The fear builds up in your mind as you try to find a quick escape from anything it creates. You revert to your childhood solution, hiding under the covers. You pull the blanket over your head and lay in silence. You hear noises, but they don't seem as scary. You figure, if they can't see you, you're safe. The heat builds up under your blanket, but you put up with it, simply for the comfort it supplies. You begin to calm down and relax, and revert to your usual logic self. It's just you and your thoughts again, alone, under your blankets. You think of how silly it was to get scared and worked up over a silly little noise. Eyes closed. You lift the blankets off of your face as the build-up heat is released. You breathe a sigh of relief and roll over, only to hear a deep, grating voice whisper, "Oh, there you are," as the sounds of footsteps creep towards your bed. Back in the woods, in a little old town, there sits a grave on unholy ground. It's covered in leaves and things that crawl, buried in weeds and vines that sprawl. The light is dim and the wind grows cold. Her name is Nellie. She was 10 years old. She killed her family and fed on their fat. She killed their dog to feed her cat. She haunted the neighbors with her spells and her tricks. She stabbed at their ankles with nails and sharp sticks. She danced in the shadows to a devilish tune, calling up spirits and drawing down the moon. She struck fear in their hearts on those long, lonely nights. They locked their doors and windows and left on their lights. Through darkness and shadows and under their beds, she tickled their toes and chopped off their heads. In the county they gathered, they came to the church. With pitchfork and lantern, they started their search. Long into the night, they followed her trails. They searched all the shadows and deep into wells. When they found her half crazed, she put up a fight. They killed her by fire, screams echoing in the night. They buried her bones on the unholy ground, a secret they kept, to their graves it was bound. If you hear it, don't tell it. You'll regret it if you do. For if you dare speak it, she'll come back after you. Her grave, if you find it, and dared be so bold, you'll remember Nellie. She was 10 years old.